Hello, YouTubers. How you doing? I just wanted to give a little update on some things. Um, I had a hearing this morning, and it was on traffic citations. And these traffic citations, I had a form covered vehicles license from the Iowa DOT, and it was concerning registration issues. At least that was the initial stop. Well, on form covered vehicles, under the Iowa DOT, it says in the rules and the laws under MAP and Code of Federal Regulations that the registration as a form covered vehicle will have expired tags on it, but you carry in persona with inside the cab a registration statement that says from the state of Iowa DOT that this is a Iowa form covered vehicle registration and it is valid. Well, the officer in a town said that my vehicle registration was expired, and I showed him this. What the Iowa DOT showed me to show him. Well, he denied it, didn't recognize it, and charged me for no registration. Didn't recognize the rules and the laws. Well, what you have to know is these officers and deputies and all these people that they get briefed by the district attorney, and you'll most of you know that your old cap's name is a trust or a corporation or a business. And within that, they're charging that, and it's a trust account. And they make some big dollars off of that. So they're always going to try to charge it and extort you for funds out of that account. Now, that account was created at birth, and it was actually done upon fraud because it doesn't cover 8 elements of the contract, which privity of contract or meeting of the minds. Mother was the informant, and you weren't even of age to accept a contract like that. So they used your mother under the Maternities Act, 1921, to enable that fact to do what they do. Well, that's fraud because anyone knows if you're not of age 18, you're not able to enter into any contract knowingly or unknowingly by law. And in addition, take the military for instance. You can't go into the military until you're 18, correct? Well, it's a contract. They take over your vessel, which is the all caps name, under international maritime law. Now, moving beyond that whole issue, wasn't even really the issue. I've expatriated as a U.S. corporate citizen under the 14th Amendment of the corporate U.S. jurisdiction, which was fraud. But it wasn't fraud because they gave you a way out on. Well, of course, we weren't born then, but it's still there. It's the statutes at large for the expatriation process before they did the 14th Amendment citizen in 1871. Well, this was done on July 27th, 1868, and they had to give you way out, or the congressional hearing would have been, the Congress would have been in treason otherwise. So they have to give you a remedy before they can incorporate you as a jurisdiction under the Department of Justice rule and these Article 1 courts rule under commercial law, which is Uniform Commercial Code, and all this other stuff. So what you do is you got general appearance and special appearance. Well, I walked into this hearing under special appearance, telling them that I'm an executor of the estate. Well, they ignored me. They just railroaded me and ignored me. Oh yeah. Oh no. District attorney shouts up, yells out. Oh yeah, he's Clint Squire. We know who he is. He's got a probation. He just got off probation from this charge and that charge. And really, seriously, what does that have to do with my deprivation of rights under color law under Title 18, United States Code 241 and 242? which is extortion, conspiracy, kidnapping, uh, abuse, all kinds of stuff, railroading, you name it. Under the color of law, they make you a corporate character. Well, I oppose that fact, and I put that right over the tickets and handed it in. Guess what? The clerk of court ignores it and go ahead and puts a motion in the case. Why? To obligate me to act as the a debtor to the executor de tort, who the position the judge is acting as over the trust, to get you into their jurisdiction by consent or tacit agreement. Well, there's nothing further from the truth. You go in there by special appearance, not general appearance. That means you're not waiving all your rights under any unrevealed contracts, which falls under Uniform Commercial Code 1-308. And in addition, there's different codes in your state that makes you heir of the estate, special occupant of the estate through heirship, and most importantly, as the donor of the trust. Well, it's a public charitable trust. But when they're charging you on the minor trust account through the Social Security number, which is the Sesticate Trust, the minor account. Okay. Well, so what you do is you just go in there and eject all their rulings. Well, they continued to railroad me, and nothing was being recorded because it's their jurisdiction. It wasn't an Article 3 court at that point. It was Article 1 under commercial law. And they went ahead and, just railroaded me and accommodated me. The judge was acting as executor de tort, which is a false position. Of course, I didn't show them any of my evidence yet because I've got papers from the Internal Revenue Service /Treasury that says that I am the executor over my state, and I have an employer's identification number that says I am. Proof of claim. I conditionally accept your offer to a contract upon proof of claim that you're acting as executor over my estate. Well, they didn't like the fact that I entered in there as the executor under special appearance. And in addition to that, they had no verified complaint. That was just a notice to appear. There was no verified complaint under penalty of perjury, under a qualified officer to give an oath, under an Article 3 jurisdiction, which is de jure. No, they don't. Under constitutional rights. No, this is color of law deprivation of rights, 241 and 242. And I wrote that in a 45-degree angle right over the ticket. And I put no contract on it because I turned that in before the 36-hour rule under Uniform Commercial Code with the right of rescission. You have the right to rescind any signature. And besides, I didn't sign the estate name on there. I put UCC 1-308 without prejudice on it. That's not even my estate's name. And you guys are ignoring that too? See the railroading we're getting into here? Well, here's the deal. On this next hearing process now, which is on May 19th for me, the executor of the state of Clinton Bates Squire, which I have proof of, through authorities above them that they pay taxes to, and revenue to, revenue, is that I'm executor of the state with an actual number. And it starts with an 83. That's an executor number for an employer identification number. Okay? So there's evidence exhibit A. Plus, I've expatriated as a U.S. citizen person. And that goes back to first in time, first in line back in 1868, July 27th, one day before that they pronounced the 14th Amendment citizen was being declared. And if you didn't oppose it, you accepted it back then. Well, guess what? There's no statute of limitations upon fraud. So if you didn't know it now, but if you found it way back then and applied it to now, it's still applicable. So I'm telling you people what you need to do and stand up against these people. It doesn't matter what you get on the initial hearing. What's going to matter is on the recording, on the next pre-trial hearing, because you're going to go in there by special appearance like I'm going to do, and I'm going to have all my exhibits A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, however many it takes, and I'm going to prove to them that I'm the executor of the estate, I'm the special occupant of the estate, and I have remedy. And then you do it under adverse claim. That's your recoupment. And then that's your counterclaim. And then you do it under fraud. And then you do it under extortion. Then you do it under deprivation of rights under the color of law. These are the things you can do on the next hearing after the initial hearing when they railroad you. Why? Because it's going to be recorded and they can't deny it. And I've already proven it out because I had a previous case to where I did go in by special appearance on the second hearing after the initial hearing when they railroad you, and they put me down as the plaintiff. Now, here's the issue that I didn't do when I was the plaintiff. What you have to do when you're plaintiff, you have to file a counterclaim. And the first and foremost counterclaim you want to do is fraud. And then you exhibit what the fraud was and when it happened and how it happened. Why? Even if it was in the past, which it is, you have no statute of limitations upon fraud. And in addition to that, with my expatriation treaties, I notified all the 5 officers of the U.S. corporation, 2 of them being in the state of that I live in, one being the secretary and the other being the governor. Well, they hold 2 positions. One of the positions is de jure, the second position is de facto. Well, you make a choice on who you want to be. You want to be de jure or de facto? Well, I'm de jure. I'm expatriated and I'm an American citizen or American state national. But back in those days, they called it American citizen. That doesn't mean I'm a citizen of some governor or some president. That just means that that's what they were called then, and that was the language they used and the understanding they had. But it still goes down to United States Code designation of what a state national is. And if you go into Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, we're called foreign states. So we're all foreign states. The United States person or corporation is in the jurisdiction of a 10-mile square, which is Washington, D.C. And all these state of states, the state of Iowa, the state of Washington, the state of, they're all corporate factions too, umbrellaed under their shell corporations, so to speak, under the United States corporation. So they're all employees of that corporation. Just so you know this. But if this helps you a little bit on straightening out the process for you and actually some remedies you can use, so be it. I hope it helps. I'm going away with a smile. I didn't lose anything today. Did they railroad me and ignore me? You bet they did. Was I expecting it? Yes, I was. But my time's a coming. Study, study, study. It'll pay off in the long run. And never, never relinquish your rights for privileges. And never let them overrule you as a debtor when you've done the proper processes to become the creditor, according to Publication 1212 of the IRS manual, as a creditor. Get out of their jurisdiction. Love you guys. More later. Bye.